let me remind you, the US always works with allies, and most of its allies are in Europe. And when we look at the relationship between Africa and Europe, it has never ever been the best. It has never, I repeat, it has never ever been the best relationship. And to tax them to bring democracy in Africa, it's like,
if you see me in the streets, better holler at me. Seeking for a beat, throw them dollars at me. I don't like defeat, take that away from me. You tryna be like me, you couldn't handle my story. But we gon' let you know, we gon' let you know. We gon' let you know, we gon' let you know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing, man? Hey, man, it's your boy, Mr. J. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to yet another episode of Mr. J's Reactions, man. And oh, if this is your first time seeing this dude, man, I'm Jay, man. A motherlandian living in the diaspora, and for the past 4 years, man, I've been dropping reaction from content coming out of motherland. Entertainment, music, movies, news. Now I've been into news. But for in the past few days, man, I have been reacting on a whole lot of happening in my continent, and I think that is for a greater good, that each and every one of us should always give in our own quota to expose certain things that is going on in our continent to make it a better place. So thank you for coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about something really interesting. You know, I've been talking about bad leadership, bad governance, Western imperialist content in the past few days, and today I want us to look at something really interesting. And I recently dropped a vlog, I earlier dropped a vlog talking about ECOWAS and the hypocrisy and the bad governance, the bad leadership that organization is having so far. And I mentioned the chairperson of ECOWAS, who is currently the president of Nigeria, man, President Bola Tinubu, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about this man's recent plea and this man's recent mismanagement of leadership. And somebody sent me, a fan who has been watching this, big up to you, this all love, man. Somebody sent me some information which is really disturbing as an African. And if I was Nigerian, I would be crying out loud for that statement, man. This man, President Tinubu Bola of Nigeria, of course, we all know the shadiness, we all know the story behind this guy, but he went ahead and, you know, he begged, he pleaded for the US to actively get involved in the defense of democracy in Africa. Let me repeat that. This man he begged and he pleaded the US to get involved in the defense of democracy in motherland. Yes, you might hear the crickets drop off. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this vlog is about that statement. Let's for a minute, let's take a moment out and just look at this man's rise and, you know, rise to where he is today. And we know that this man calling the US to defend democracy in motherland, it's the height of stupidity, it's the height of audacity coming from somebody who was undemocratically voted into position where he is today. But that is spilled milk. You cannot cry over spilled milk. That is water under the bridge. Because we all saw live on social media. We all saw people. See, the sad thing is, democracy has taken a different dimension ever since there was the creation of the mobile phone. Because now people can actually record things. And during the election, the campaign process, in that beautiful country, Nigeria, we did see the discrepancy. We did see the craziness and the madness. But I'm not here to speak about that. I'm not Nigerian, but I feel the pain. We all know that he was undemocratically elected into office. And then recently, there was the whole situation of the the court, the justice system in Nigeria really disappointing a whole lot of us who felt that for a moment, for a minute, people, justices in Africa, judges will come to their senses and actually stand for the truth. But who am I to speak? You feel me? Like I said, I'm not Nigerian, but I'm a child of Africa, and exactly what is happening in Nigeria is happening next door to my country, my birth country, Cameroon, man. So this man calling for the US to defend democracy in Africa, it's like a slap in the face of all of these leaders in the Sahel region who have been trying and striving to take back control of everything that they have lost in the hands of manipulators, in the hands of puppets for the West. If you go to Guinea, you go to Burkina Faso, you go to Mali, Niger, which is a neighboring country to Nigeria, you go to Chad, you go to Gabon, you would realize that these people took to the street. They decided with their army to take power and give back to the people of these beautiful countries what the West has been conniving with, especially France, to steal. They are trying to do democracy by themselves. Now, to see this man who is actually, when we talk about Nigeria, we talk about one of the biggest economies in Africa. We talk about a giant in Africa. No, we're not talking about Burna Boy. We talk about a giant in Africa. And to see such leadership to be put in place, I'm not going to talk about his age, because as an African, you really need to be. It's commonplace to see old folks get into position of leadership, which, if you ask me, is it by merit? We're not going to dwell on that. But my focus is this man calling for democracy in Africa when he is the declared definition of undemocracy. This man, throughout his whole life, he lied to the Nigerian people. We're talking about from the schools he went to. We can talk about from the so-called degrees that he said he had from the US. And we can talk about him being a bagman for the mafia in Chicago. Yeah, this man was. I don't care what any Nigerian will come and say and leave under the comment, but it is clear cut that this man lied and he defrauded you people into thinking that he is who he is not. Now, calling for the US to come into Africa is like inviting your enemy into your house. Let me remind you, the US always works with allies, and most of its allies are in Europe. And when we look at the relationship between Africa and Europe, it has never ever been the best. It has never, I repeat, it has never ever been the best relationship. And to tax them to bring democracy in Africa, it's like just what I said earlier on. ECOWAS, he is the chairman of ECOWAS, and if he is tasking the US to come in and bring democracy in motherland, you can know for sure that this man is already he is already being controlled. ECOWAS, once again, is supposed, was created to cater for the economies of the country's member states, Western African states. But it's becoming something else. I just want to say this, as a child of motherland, it was better for this man to task the US to bring democracy in Nigeria, because just like my own country, man, we all know that there's a whole lot of corruption, embezzlement, man, elitism, minds are going on in politics in Nigeria. But Nigeria's situation is more at the limelight because it's supposed to be the giant of motherland like they are. You are supposed to shine bright so that every other person will follow. Excuse me. Now think about this man saying this, and these young leaders who just, especially the Burkina Faso guy, who do you think he's going to respect this guy? I wonder. Now, I want to throw it back to you people. I want you to leave a comment. When this man talks of democracy, I want to hear especially from a Nigerian audience. When this man is claiming and calling for democracy in Africa, is there really democracy in Nigeria? Is there really democracy in these individual ECOWAS member states? Is this the right way? Is it the right way to invite somebody that we are trying to kick out of our continent nowadays? In recent years, you can see what has been happening. Is it a good call? What do you think? Leave a comment. I want to know, but this is what I would say from my own part. It is a failure. It is gross downing of governance. It is bad sign. I don't know if it's because of his age. I don't know if because his rational thinking pattern is down because due to age. But I don't want to abuse that beautiful country because I know that I have some beautiful friends and audiences from Nigeria. But I'm going to say this. It is a big letdown if the leader of ECOWAS and the organization that is actually planning to hit another neighboring country for standing up against materialistic, imperialist, colonial masters, then I don't know where we are heading to. So my honest take is, nah, I don't respect the man at all. That doesn't mean I don't respect my Nigerian family. Inshallah, leave a comment. Let me know exactly. What do you think? Mr. Tinubu, who was the bagman for the mafia in Chicago, the drug, of course, he still has links. He's, you know, remember, his assets were frozen in the U.S. That is cajoling and playing up to these people so they can release his money. Man, that's my take, man. Please don't forget to give us that thumbs up, like button, leave a comment. Let's talk, let's chime in. Have a beautiful week, man. From me to you, man, it's all love. You feel me? Africa is rising. Peace.
Creation, reaction, God. Big up TRB family. Mr. J, I see you. I know some artists don't do this. God bless you and your family.